wanted to just show you a couple of things. First of all, in our homework section, maybe I can make this a little bit bigger. In our homework section, I am going to try to, if you go see more, there should be a little section that says in class today. So if you are away or you just forgot what we did or whatever, there will be a little section that says in class today, what we did, and what you might be able to do to get caught up on things. Okay, so that's one thing. The second thing is our lesson videos, which you can see here. Normally I don't, so you can actually just see the date. I always date the videos, and I don't know, it does not like an ampersand. It gives me a weird little symbol there, but it was review of accuracy and precision and some other stuff. Those videos are there if you want to watch them to get caught up on anything, okay? Totally optional. And just a reminder, we have 2 quizzes coming up. What are they? There's one, what's your first one? SI units and metric prefixes. So here is what that quiz is going to look like. We will want to go to page 63. Do you see this chart? Your quiz will look like that, okay? Except that it might not have volume D, moles, K, mass, T. Instead, it might have V, liter, mole, temperature, M, second, or it might have liter, M, amount of matter, T, kilogram, S. You will have one thing given to you in each line, okay? So you need to be able to fill in the rest of the table. Now, should you so desire, this class has enriched options, okay? Because there are things that I would love to teach you that I don't necessarily have time to teach you. But if you're finding that you've finished all the day's homework and you want like a little extra, these are things I would have covered in the past when we had more class time. You can do them. So for example, for this quiz, I'm going to put a black diamond here, because the black diamond is my symbol for anything that is enriched or extending or whatever you would like to call it. Those marks go into a separate bin, and at the end of the term, at the end of the semester, I look at those marks as a whole and I give you some amount, the top, like if you got perfect on all the enriched stuff, that would equal 3%. Okay, so I just add that straight onto your mark. If you got 50% on the enriched stuff, that would equal an extra 1.5%. Does that make sense? Okay, and if you're like, no, it didn't make sense, we can talk about it again later. But anytime you see a black diamond, or I let you know about a black diamond, it is something that you can do to get some enriched credit. And if you choose to, there is a version of this quiz that has nothing in any of the rows, and you just fill it in. It does not have to be in any particular order. You can do it in whatever order you like, okay? Obviously, if there are, things already there, you would have to put the matching things with them. If you had L here, you would need to have liters here, and V here, and volume here. They all have to match up within a row. Make sense? Cool. Second part of the quiz will look pretty much like the bottom of page 64, where we have the largest to the smallest prefix. And you will be writing the full form, so that would be like mega, kilo. Oh, shall we sing it while we're here? Mega, kilo, deci, centi, milli, micro, nano, mega, kilo, deci, centi, milli, micro, nano. Yeah? What was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, the letter K. I don't know what they're doing in elementary schools these days, but a lowercase k. Do you know how sometimes when you're in primary school, they give you paper that looks like this? Yeah? A K, a lowercase k, starts at the top, goes to the bottom, and then it's like this. Yes? So the first bar should be taller. So if I see kilogram like that, that is incorrect because that looks like a capital K. Do you see a capital K? This part is in the middle. Here, it's about, it's 3/4 of the way down. I know, that's really picky. I'm not normally going to be that picky, but because this quiz is all about writing the correct prefixes, on this quiz I'll be picky, and then after that I won't be so, crazy about it. All right, so if you have your own particular font, just watch it for this quiz, and then after that you can, get away with a little bit more. All right? So not like this, like this. And same thing when you're doing seconds, make sure it looks like a lowercase s. If I give you a box that's like this and you write S like that, that's going to look like a capital S. So make sure you sort of stick it down near the bottom so it looks like a small s. Make sure that your capital M looks like a capital M and your little m looks like a little m. And do you feel practiced enough in writing micro? Yes? And if you don't, go practice it a few times. So that's your quiz that is tomorrow. Questions? Concerns? Excellent. I guess I should take attendance. All right, so we have Kaya there, and Kai is there. Matthias, yes? Yes. And James is there, and Yenna, and MG, and Finn, Sia, Sarah, Grace. I'm like, Grace. Emily is there. Greg is here. Andrew Kim is there. Okay. Ethan. Ethan not here? Okay. Jinya? Here? Jinya? Yes, okay. And Catherine are both here. And Leo's here, Kaizen's here, G1 is here, and Andrew Van Andresen is here. Excellent, okay. So if you're practicing for tomorrow's quiz, you can do page 64 already, and that's it for that. We are now going to take a look at 1.4b, which is on page 65. So chemistry is all about making measurements, and if you have taken physics, you may have done significant figures already. Significant figures are all to do with measurements. If you don't know what a significant figure is, don't worry about it. You will learn very soon, okay? But the starting point for sig figs is making measurements. So for any measurement, the final digit is considered to be the estimated or uncertain digit. Now, just if you guys are wondering what this little QR code is here, there is a video that goes through this. So if we weren't doing it here and you wanted to watch a video, it's actually made by somebody else, but you could either go to the link, or you could look at the QR code and it would take you to the video. So anytime you see those, there is a video attached. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this and we're going to record the length of the pencil. And the first thing I want you to notice is that when we record the length of the pencil, we actually have to write length of pencil. You need to tell me both the quantity that you are measuring and what you are measuring. The thing that you are measuring. So you might say volume of water. You might say time it takes for a dog to run across the classroom, right? So you're always writing down the quantity and what you are measuring. Here we are measuring the length of a pencil. If you wanted to abbreviate length of a pencil, what letter could you use for length? L. Okay, so another way of writing that, we could write L, and then we could use subscripts. Do you guys know what subscripts are? The prefix sub, if you go in a submarine, you are going under the water, and marine is like water. If it is sub-zero, the temperature is below zero. So sub means below. Script, guess what script means? Script means writing, okay? So if you get a prescription, your doctor has written you a prescription. If you have a script for a play, somebody wrote that script, okay? Script is writing. So what you can do is you can, instead of writing length of pencil, you could write L, and then you could write in subscripts, little writing below the writing, you could write pencil. So those are both, you don't have to write both, just pick one and go with it. You need to write what you are measuring, which is what we have done there. We need to include one and only one estimated digit. So if you had to estimate this, please tell your partner or someone near you what you think that estimated length would be. You should write down any digits that you are sure of and then one estimated digit. Tell your partner what you think the measurement should be. I heard some 6.1s, I heard some 6.2s. You could write 6.1 or you could write 6.2. And that's because that final digit is estimated. It is uncertain. It could be higher or lower by one digit. Okay, that estimated digit can be higher or lower by one digit. So if you write 6.1 and your partner writes 6.2, is that okay? Yes. Okay. Have we missed anything in this measurement? We need some units. Every time if you are in chemistry, you should not be writing a number without units. So in this case, this ruler, it doesn't actually say centimeters, but I think we can pretty much assume, since it is a pencil, that this is a centimeter ruler. And so we would write centimeters, cm. Now we get into the tricky part, okay? Because that's pretty straightforward. But if you look at our next picture, the tip of the pencil is exactly on the what? On the line. If it is exactly on the line, if you were to just write 6 centimeters, that would mean that you were unsure about the 6. Okay, because that's your final digit, right? In the number 6 centimeters, there's only one digit. 6 is the final digit, which would mean that you were estimating the 6. Are you estimating the 6 here? No, you're not estimating. That's pretty darn on a 6. So when we record the length of the pencil, we would need to, instead, we would need to add a 0. Okay, so instead of writing 6 centimeters, we would write 6.0 centimeters. And that right there is the estimated digit. What have I forgotten in my measurement? I need to have 3 things in my measurement. I have an estimated digit. That's good. I have my unit. That's good. What am I missing? The what. What are we measuring? Length of pencil. And I didn't leave myself much room, so I'm going to choose to use the abbreviated form length of pencil. Now, you don't have to write L as like the scripty kind of L, like a handwritten L. You could write L like this. I have a tendency as a chemistry teacher, I want my L's to look different from my 1's, to look different from my capital I's. So when you see me write a lowercase L, it will probably look like this. Not doing a very good job. That'll be a lowercase L. That, a 1 will either be like that or like that. And then my capital I try always, if it's not obvious, to have crossbars on the top and bottom. But you can write an L any which way you want to. If you want to write L like that, that's totally good. Okay? All right. Now, here we have a very silly ruler. All right, it's only got markings at 0 centimeters and 10 centimeters. How would you record the length of the pencil based on the lines on this ruler? Tell your partner what you would record it as. What do you guys think? Any numbers that anyone wants to throw out there? Yes. 6 or 7? Yeah, maybe it could be 6 centimeters. Maybe it could be 7 centimeters. Could we say that it is 6.5 centimeters? No. No. Here's the deal. Whenever you have a measuring device, you have to estimate one more place value than the measuring device measures. I'm going to say that again because I didn't say it well the first time. So you always estimate one more place value than the smallest division on your measuring device. Now, what does that all mean, right? What is a place value? Chat with your partner. See if you can remember what's a place value. Okay, so if I had like this, if I had a number like this place value would be the thousands. Okay. I'm not going to write them all in because I won't be able to fit them, but this place value would be the tens. Yes. This would be the ones. This would be the tenths or the 0.1s. And then this one would be the hundredths. That's what we mean by place value, okay? So when we look on our ruler, and what the heck is this smallest division? The smallest division on this ruler means what's the smallest marking? And on this ruler, it is, we only got one marking, so the smallest division is 10 centimeters. So if each line on the ruler is worth 10 centimeters, you want to estimate one more place value than that. So that would be like moving one to the right. So we would go from the tens to the ones, okay? And so you can estimate the ones place, all right? Just like we did on our previous ruler, which measured to the ones, we went to the tenths place. And if you want to turn the page, you can turn the page. I'll know you're done because I'll hear flipping. I do look for people writing and I try to make sure people have had time. If I move on too quickly for you, just, be like, hey, could we just go back for a second? Okay. Because I don't always manage to time myself well. And if you are a very fast writer and you get bored, you can always work ahead. Okay. Or you can just chill and wait for us. All right, so always estimate one more digit than the smallest marking on the measuring device. This one, what is our smallest marking here on this ruler? Here it is, the 1 centimeter. Half my writing keeps disappearing. So that's our smallest marking or our smallest division. It's the other word we can use for it. So with your partner, think what you would, first of all, think what you would measure this pencil as, and then compare your measurement with your partner. Okay, what do you think? What did you guys get? Yes. Yeah, 6.7 or 6.8. Anybody get 6.6? Yeah, okay, so you could have had, or 6.6 possibly, okay, centimeters. Could you say 6.75 centimeters? No. That is because each ruler line is worth 1 centimeter, so we can only estimate one more position than that, one more place value, so we can go to the 0.1. We've gone one more place value to the right. And now we have to blow this up so we can actually see it. All right. So this is a more precise ruler. And the reason it is a more precise ruler is that your estimate and your partner's estimate will probably be closer to each other, right? This one, we could be off by 0.1 of a centimeter, whereas how much could we be off for this one? 0.01. So this is a more precise ruler. All right, once again, give a measurement for that and then compare it with your partner. Compare what you think with your partner. What do you think? Yes. Yeah, we could have 6.75, we could have 6.76, and you see those ones are only off each other by 0.01, which means that is more precise than the previous ruler, which was off by 0.1. Could you say that it is 6.755 centimeters? No. Each line on this ruler is worth 0.01 because, or sorry, this would be 6.1, this would be 6.2. So each line on the ruler is worth 0.1. And therefore you can estimate one more place value, the 0.01 place. So it measures tenths, so we can estimate the hundredths. All right, I would like you to try recording the values for the length of the pencil for these, making sure you include all three things that you need in each measurement. And if you've forgotten what all three things are, you can go back to page 65. Okay, and once you've done that, compare with your partner. You can also fill in the smallest marking and the estimated digits. Have you had a chance to compare yet, or are you still working? Take a moment and compare with your partner. Alrighty, what is the smallest marking on that first ruler? 10. And so our estimated digit would be 1. And so you might say that the length of the pencil is equal to 6 centimeters or 7 centimeters or something like that. Okay? You don't need to write both of them. I'm writing both of them, but you only write one. Choose one. How about our next pencil? The smallest marking is 1 centimeter, and our estimated digit therefore must be 0.1. And so we would estimate this as being 6.0. So the length of the pencil, don't forget that part. Honestly, when people do this quiz, that's the most commonly forgotten thing, is to write what you're measuring. Length of the pencil is equal to 6.1 centimeters. It seems really tedious and boring to do it on this worksheet because we're doing a lot of reporting. When you're actually doing in a lab, you won't be writing it like one after another, so it won't be, nearly as tedious. Okay. And, or you could do 6 point or 5 point. Oh, did I write 6.1? I meant to write 6.0 centimeters, or you could do 5.9 centimeters, or you could do 6.1 centimeters. I mean, I would probably go with 6.0, but in theory, I've made it really obvious on this paper here, but how many rulers are actually that good? You know what I mean? Like the lines are not so beautiful and all that stuff. All right, our last ruler here, the smallest marking is how much? 0.1 centimeters. So we can go one more place value. That was our tenths. We can go to the hundredths. So this one, the length of the pencil, will be 6.00 centimeters. So we have to have all those extra zeros on there, okay? All those extra zeros. And therefore, that's our answer, okay? Summary, look back at this document. If you can't remember, when recording any measurement, be sure to write down the following 3 things. See if you can fill that in. And once you have finished that, you can work on equipment A. You can also work on equipment B. Okay, so that would be anywhere up to and including page 24. You may not get all the way to page 24 today, okay? And I have to go and mess with these so that when you get them, they're set up incorrectly. So you can set them up there. I'll make it pretty obvious, yes. The question was, do we need to know how to convert between the prefixes? We'll do that in our next unit, Unit 2. For this one, I'm just introducing them. Yeah, I meant to talk about spaced repetition today. We should talk about spaced repetition today. I want. Because it is one of the most powerful study techniques around, and it is poorly utilized by most students. So I try to work it in to our lessons when I possibly can. So here, we'll just watch this wee little video here. If it will go. Hopefully it will. Oh, let's make sure that's on. And we have sound. Now. It's just a little 2.5 minute video.
Welcome to Tiny Medicine. This is my newest series, Studying How to Study. This week, I'm going to explain the basis of spaced repetition by walking you through the forgetting curves. Let's assume you're studying a certain chapter today. The y-axis of the graph represents the memory strength, with a maximum value of 100%. When you study the chapter for the first time, you develop a strong memory. Let's call this the primary memory. but with time, memory strength fades rapidly. This is the normal forgetting curve. Now,
so you can see that if you were to study things today and then wrote a quiz on it next week, how would you do? Pretty terrible. Yes, you would know virtually nothing.
let's utilize this knowledge to develop powerful study techniques. Here are two ways to maximize the retention. The first method is developing a strong primary memory. Imagine two students studying for the same exam. One student by hearts the lessons by cramming, whereas the second student understands the concepts by creating flowcharts. It's obvious that the primary memory of the second student is much stronger than the first student.
So you want that primary memory to be as tall as it possibly can be, okay? Now, some things are just about memory. Our first quiz is just about memory, but most things you will be able to understand how they work. So you could make a flow chart, or you could draw a picture of what you're doing, or you could practice the steps. A lot of the chemistry is just practicing the steps, okay, a lot like math class. Okay, those would be how to get a good primary memory. So that first spike is really tall.
The key to a strong primary memory is understanding the concept rather than cramming. Flowcharts are one way to achieve this. There are other techniques like creating tables, mind maps, mnemonics, and Picmocs. But my favorite technique is creating my own theories. Understanding the concepts before memorizing them is the secret to a strong primary memory. The second secret to a prolonged memory is spaced repetition. When you review the same chapter on the second day, the gradient of the forgetting curve flattens a bit.
So now we've reviewed it on a second day. And now we're going to take a quiz next week. How are you going to do now? Not as bad, right? Not awesome, but not as bad.
When you review it again on the seventh day, the slope flattens even further. This pattern of spaced revision is called spaced repetition.
So you can see if you study it 1, 2, 3 times your retention, I mean, it would make sense, right? You've looked at it how many times now? 3. It should stick with you better. Yes? And so you'll notice that one of the things I do is that, you did accuracy and precision on day 1, and then I assign some on day 2. The quiz isn't until next Monday, right? So that you can review then over the weekend. So you have this spaced repetition worked into your program. When you go off to university and nobody tells you exactly what to do on any given day, you can use this as one of your study techniques.
It helps to retain facts in memory for longer time periods. You can do this manually by reviewing the notes in a planned timetable. For example, you can review the notes on the second day, on the 7th day, 14th day, 28th day, and then once every 3 months. Or you can use apps to develop.
You're like every 3 months, oh my God, but that's going to be in a course where you have, say, a final exam. Do you know what I mean? Like you're reviewing it on the first day, on the 7th day, on the 14th day, and then at your final exam. So, yeah. Anyway, we don't need to watch the rest of that. That was all about spaced repetitions, extremely powerful technique used by lots of really successful people. Yes? The thing is that you probably don't have time to study every concept every day. So no, I mean, obviously, if you could study everything every day, you'd have, the perfect memory. But we're learning new things as we go along. So what you want to do is you want to say, okay, I have a little more time on this day, on this weekend, and so I'm going to work in things that I did from earlier in the unit. Okay? And like I said, I will try to do this somewhat for you because you're in grade 11, but if I'm not doing it successfully for you, if you're like, hey, I haven't looked at accuracy and precision in a while, and my test is coming up, you might be like, oh, I got some extra time tonight, I'm going to review that little concept so my memory stays fresh. Okay, so back to equipment A and B, and I need to go mess with the